Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater had a demo that multiple outlets ended up playing, and I got you covered with everything confirmed from every single one of those articles in a big recap here. We have some screenshots as well, which I'll showcase. And just a little disclaimer on my last video, I talked about one article and showed some of the screenshots and broke it down. So if you want to break down on the screenshots, go for it. This video is going to do all of the articles because I didn't know there was so many people who got their hands on this demo. And I'm excited to share this. This is my favorite series of all time. So absolutely cannot wait to get into this conversation and discuss everything that is bringing. So lock in for some good stuff as we rock with you guys. And I just want to give a thank you to the community. We're pretty much partnered with YouTube, almost finished with the partnership, need 1,000 more watch times and we'll be partnered. So it means the world to me that you guys have been supporting. We're going to have extra giveaways, the badges, emotes, some merch, and membership events for you guys going forward once we finish the partnership. And so lock in for that. Right now, we do have giveaways for this game. I'm going to give one away or more this year. And then once the release date is announced, also more throughout the year when it does release. I was thinking it was coming out this year, but we got some news about that. Unfortunately, it's not coming out this year, sadly, and I'm sorry. But don't worry, because we are going to get information supposedly in Tokyo Game Show. Most likely. That's something that I've been talking about for a while now. That's Konami's big event. It's right in their home turf. And I believe they're going to have the playable demo for people. And on top of that, that's when the release date will come out. All the articles were saying that the release date should be revealed later this year. And I believe that the interviewers were asking the managers about this, and that's what they confirmed. I have not spoken to them directly, which I should. And I'll make a separate video when I have some questions and comments to bring to you guys. But of course, right now from the articles, that's what was said. And then they talk about the Metal Gear Solid team that's making the game. They said it's a mix of the original veterans who've made the Metal Gear games and new talent. But there's no single creative director role. And basically it's a team effort. They do have the producer, Nori, who is amazing. He's been so transparent, and I believe that's what we need from every studio, every game, to be able to have transparency. So I love him because he's always very clear when he gets interviewed, straightforward, none of the funny business. Speaking of funny business, Hideo Kojima does get the credit. When the game opens up, it says originally directed by Hideo Kojima, basically giving him credit for the original, not trying to taint his name in any way, but very, very, very special because you guys know we love us some Kojima. He's basically his imprint is forever in the series. Don't get me started on that conversation, but yeah. And secondly, they did ask about the online mode or anything like that. And at the moment, Konami says no comments. Guess what? Don't lie. Don't lie. They already made a comment. I talked about this. I have multiple videos. They said that there's online functions and that they're working on it. And they didn't go into detail. They said later on, we'll talk about the online stuff. And that was in one of the production hotline bling of the show that they have for the Metal Gear series, which they should be having another one before Tokyo Game Show. So watch out for that. I got you covered. So just stick here if you want to be updated. With that out of the way, a very important feature for a lot of people. The game, when they were playing it, was 30 FPS fidelity mode, but Konami has confirmed that they have a 60 FPS performance mode. This is critical. You know, we're living in 2024, guys. I think everything about the game should be upgraded, not just a couple of graphics, right? We're living in the modern day. So that's important, and I love that. The people who previewed it said that it feels like a higher fidelity Phantom Pain overall when it comes to the engine and the way they use it, that it has a beautiful visual kick to it that's special. And then having the camera in real time where you can zoom in on cutscenes and see Snake's pores on his skin, which I think is outrageously crazy if that's that good? We're gonna find out, because it's one thing to get a screenshot from the developers, you know, tweaking it and making it look pretty with some filters, and it's the actual real game. So we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. And then they talked about the demo and the damage system. If you guys don't know and you're new to the series, the way you play this game is somewhat of a survival game. It's a stealth game, true and true. It has action, stealth, but the truth is, it's a survival game. You have to eat, and your stamina will drop. The more damage you take, the stamina starts dropping. You're really dealing with a survival mechanic, and the damage, if you break your leg, you're really gonna be all messed up. You got to heal it. Somebody throws a poison dart, you could get poisoned. All these things are real, and they talked about how the damage will stay with you throughout the game, no matter what. And you're gonna notice the effects, is what the producer said. So we'll see if there's differences from the original and that one. That's something I'll test out and have fun with. But man, I'm just like, I didn't think a remake could make me this excited. And I was excited about it before. The more information that we get, the more I'm like, yes, keep making it better, please. I'm tired of the old games. And we're going to talk about why in a second here, because they got more information that they talk about it. They say the quality of life has been extended on a lot of modernized menu designs and accessibility options. So tons of things to help people who are new to the series. And if you're watching this and you're new, these games are old, 20 years, 30 years old, Metal Gear games. And while I am a hardcore fan, it is a little weird having to get back on the controls after you play, let's say, part 4 or part 5. All of those above 3 and above, tend to have more modern controls, and you can do a lot more things, and it just feels better. So for me, them saying they want to work on this accessibility and do quality of life, we know that they changed the controllers. You can switch to the old version or you can go to the new one. You also have over the top view back, but they have the camera angle where you can look behind you, free roam, which I think is a good fit. We see it in other Metal Gear games. It's just something that should be implemented in all the remakes that they make for this series. Then they have the quick menu, which is new, showing the camo index. And I want to kind of take a moment to let you guys actually see this with your own eyes, okay? There's plenty of good stuff. I'm going to show you what I mean. And just know, like, this to me could be the deal breaker for some people who might be a little too much, let's just say, with this demand of what they want or don't want. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a quick look so you can see for yourself, and we're going to talk about it before I go forward. This is something I analyzed on my last video, but I want to just talk about it very quickly. These menus are looking like it's real time. So as you click on this menu, I don't know if it's going to pause, or will the characters and everything in the world continue the way it did in the Phantom Pain. And everything before the Phantom Pain, most of the things would pause as you switch your weapon, you go change this, change that. It would pause the game completely. And this is something known about Metal Gear. It's kind of cheesy. You can do it during a boss fight. In the middle of a boss fight, literally just switch out your weapon or your gear or this or that. And in this game, it looks like it might be on the fly from what was said. It said they press the D-pad up for the camo, one person said. Not a lot of people said that, but that was one person. And so these two menus are in question. And if I was playing, I would make it very clear for the audience. I don't have the information officially to tell you guys anything other than what they said. I don't want to agree or disagree. I'm not sure what they meant, but that is something to think about. Either way, I'm excited. If it's the old school, it pauses everything. I'm fine. I'm used to it. But if it's the new one, hey, let's go for it, baby. Then they have the snake. They said you can roll around in the mud and end up covering yourself enough so that the camo index makes it invisible, make you invisible for enemies to see if you're in the dirt. And this is very cool because the camo is very important. But if you just throw some dirt on and lay on the floor, you might be able to get away with a lot of things and not have to switch on the fly. They said that the crocodiles can barely see you, but I want to test this on humans, and we'll see how good it is when the game releases or when there's a demo officially for us to play. It says a strong focus on the controls. The new controls tweaked allow you to ready your weapon and equipment, removing the need to hold the button to grab enemies, which is very good. In my opinion, this is an old school thing of Metal Gear. If you play it, you know what it is and you're used to it. I mean, I can do it and make it look smooth, but it's not smooth. We're being real. We're being real honest fans. It was not smooth. It's difficult to get used to. It's like its own system that's not in the normal games. But they also have more accessibility things like the center dot display. So instead of you having to know where you're looking, it'll have that dot throughout the game. And that's pretty cool. Now, another controversial thing, again, these guys don't explain it well in the articles. They're saying rolling now has a dedicated triangle button. You can now dive to the ground from standing position, as well as Snake can crouch walk, which was a feature that was in one of the older games, the 3DS version. But here's the thing. They don't explain this in detail, okay? So the rolling has its own dedicated button, but they say that you can dive to the ground from a standing position. That's a Phantom Pain feature. If this feature is the same as the Phantom Pain, that is going to be so dynamic and crazy to put into Snake Eater. I mean, I'm going to have a blast. I love that. I just think it's cool because it's one thing to roll. It's another thing to dive. There's two different mechanics. And so if we get both of them, I love this game even more. Just my personal take. Now, another hot topic, which is they didn't change the levels setups, meaning for those that are new to the series, when you play the Snake Eater, you're basically going through areas. So this area will have a pond and you go through that. And then as you walk into the next area, it will load you up for a couple of seconds into the next area that will have a helicopter and an enemy base there. Then you go to another area and it's going to load you up again. And that's the old version. And they're saying that in the new version, that still exists, but there's no loading screens, no loading times. Of course, there might be like a split second loading time, maybe. This is like next gen only. So I doubt that it's going to be like, 5 seconds it's waiting to load in. I think they're right. I'm just a little bit skeptical on what that waiting time is. I'm okay with this. I know some people are going to be like, it's new gen, just make it like an open world. And I don't know, they're respecting Kojima's vision and that would change the game drastically. Am I for it or against it? I don't know, man. An open world Snake Eater would be crazy, but it won't be the same game. So it's tough. You couldn't call it a remake. That would be just like reboot, For that, they could just make a part 2, Snake Eater Part 2. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater Part 2. I'm calling it right now. We might have to make a separate video about this. It's going to be Phantom Pain mechanic style with Part 2 where Snake continues right after Snake Eater. Not when he goes to create his own base with Kaz, but before that, just a little couple crazy missions. Hey, I'm just making some stuff up, guys. But anyways, back to this conversation. They have a disclaimer basically saying that some of the elements are outdated. If you guys ever played the Master Collection, there's historical content in there. And the licensing for that is somewhat troublesome. So Konami put it's outdated, but they wanted to respect Kojima's vision. So they made sure they left some of that in there, even if it might not be appropriate for the time or whatever. So that's the thing. And then they confirm that the keratin frogs are back and there's a camo for them, for the duck. You can wear it like a ghillie suit, but they're unclear how to get it, if it's a bonus item or something like that. I think that's fun. That sounds like a cool feature just to have some extra content. They should do a lot of that. It's a new remake, right? Sure, we want what we got before, but throw in some more camos. Throw some wild stuff. It's 2024, man. Give me a camo for every single game that's ever came out. Give me all the characters. Making them with skin, you know what I mean? Let me unlock everything. Well, that's just my opinion, but that's another topic for another day. Then they also have the survey. If those that haven't played this game, when you first start Snake Eater, they ask you what Metal Gear game you like the most. And if you pick, for example, Metal Gear Solid 2, you'll start off with Raiden's mask. and that's pretty hilarious. But now they have new options, so they allow you to select Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid 4, and Metal Gear Solid V, aka the Phantom Pain. We don't know what effects or rewards you can get out of that, but I think that's fire and another cool feature that they added to the game. And then they were asking the developer something directly that has nothing to do with the actual game, but for the future of the franchise. They asked, "Will the success of the remake determine the future of the franchise? Will you be making things like Portable Ops or Acid?" And of course, Nori, the guy who's a producer, made those games. He was the one running that show. So the thing is you're asking him about something he loves, but he had to be honest. He said, if there's a high enough demand for it, let us know. We would love to see those games in modern hardware. But right now, we're doing things little by little. So honestly, if we demand it, then we'll get it. I think Snake Eater is one of the most demanded games. If you guys remember, I hate to bring salt to a wound, but Pachinko kind of made us a little upset about about them using the cutscenes for Snake Eater. They made a whole thing about it. But hey, listen, do what you do, man. Do what you do. That being said, I'm laughing because I didn't want to end the video on that note. But to me, that was hilarious. But yeah, let's go and just look at some of these pictures while I close this out here. We're looking at amazing, amazing, possibly new real time cutscenes. I mean, I'm sorry, real time menu options where you could just flick the D pad and switch your weapon, go into the Kodak, go into camo. I prefer it that way personally. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. And then, of course, the mechanics are going to be fluid. You're going to be able to cool. You could see the little rubber ducky having some fun, rubber ducky. And then they really kept authentic to all the areas. I feel like it's true to the landmark. Then, of course, they showed the classic. So we're definitely going to have these Kodaks that pause us in the game, which I'm cool with too. Tons of fun stuff. I do think that we're blessed with a great series and a great start for remakes. I think this is the number one in the game. Hope y'all enjoy this one. This is everything confirmed so far. There's gonna be more very soon. I can predict that we'll get a hot line Metal Gear show, which will be in September, the start of September. And then we'll get the Tokyo Game Show where the demo is playable and they drop a release date trailer. And I think the game's coming out in February, March. Honestly, I thought it was coming out this year, and I think they delayed it till next. That's the best I could say. But who knows? Konami's been doing amazing things. They got the Silent Hill 2 remake coming. Hopefully that's great. And they just been doing some things, kind of recovering. So I'm excited for them. Congratulations, but also for us, because if this sells well, which I believe the modern day people will be like, damn, this series is great. I've been missing out. And once people see that, the general public, they'll come and start playing this. This is getting game of the year. And then we're good to go. We could keep on getting more Metal Gear games. So, you know. But with that said, I am going to also be doing events, tournaments, so much more if the online mode comes back out, and just in general for the community, giveaways and more. So hit that description, check out the giveaway, get yourself in there. I want to give away some copies this year and next year when the game releases. All right. See you there. By the way, check out the next video. We got some deep breakdowns for you. Almost partnered up with YouTube, so the more you watch, the better you help. Throw it on. See you there.